Hi and welcome to Mum Focus. So I'm Jenny. Basically this video we're going to explain about how to reduce sudden infant death syndrome SIDS by 90%, which is crazy how we can reduce it by 90% if just more people understood this one thing. So I hope you enjoy the video and yeah, let's see what goes on. Before we get started, if you want to like and subscribe to my channel below, and then you can watch other videos and also share with other people that might be interested in certain things that I'm doing. So before I got pregnant, I kind of didn't really know about co-sleeping. I just assumed we would get a cot, they'd go in their own room when they're a certain age, and I was a bit unsure about how to co-sleep and how it all worked and things like that. So from a new mum point of view, it can be quite scary finding out this thing called SIDS could potentially kill your baby, and you do get like quite worried. You've gone through 9 months of being pregnant and all of a sudden you're bringing your baby home and you're meant to just know what to do with them. So for me, I want to just explain this video about co-sleeping and just make it really just explain some of the facts that like I wish I kind of knew before I started co-sleeping, and also before I got pregnant and things like that as well. So I hope you enjoy. So for me with co-sleeping, it really came really naturally. So I've started breastfeeding, and for me it was just, I felt safe having my baby next to me, feeding them in the night, not having to get up all the time. When you're tired, again, it's just nice to know that they're next to you. So for me, I just trusted my natural instincts. Again, with breastfeeding, you kind of have that connection with you and your baby, so it is nice to know that they're okay and you're next to them and you can hear them breathing, and also making sure it's safe as well. It's like the best feeling in the world, sleeping and then seeing your baby sleeping, and yeah, it's a relief to know they're safe, you can sleep, and everyone's happy. So yeah, co-sleeping, I absolutely love it. Something that did happen after a while is people think, oh, you're co-sleeping with your baby, shouldn't they be in their own room by now? You've got their bedroom set up with their Moses basket, cot, however. So for me, I was kind of like, well, no, why would I change what we're doing when it's working really well? My baby's sleeping not through the night, because obviously they need feeding through the night, but it was working really well for me in my situation. So why would I try and put them in their own room when for me, I've just carried them for 9 months? Why would I want to just chuck them in their own room by themselves for 9 months and let them cry themselves to sleep and all that? So yeah, so family members, friends start saying, oh, so aren't they sleeping in their own room yet? They've got their cot, why don't you just put them in their own room? They'll sleep better, you'll sleep better. And actually, the thought of that actually made me more scared, thinking they could be in their own room, something might happen and I might not hear them, or the monitor might work, or things like that. Again, it's just another worry for me. So having them next to me in the bed, I felt safe, they were safe. And again, yeah, sometimes people are trying to be nice and say the nicest things and they think their intentions are good, but just trust your natural instincts, because that's what we're designed for. Just trust your inner instincts to know that you know what's best for you and your child and your situation. And again, I will do other videos that explain about different things that can help set up for co-sleeping. The first fact, these came from the UNICEF, and the most up to date the time I'm doing this video, so I will be just reading off some of these things, so bear with me, because I am dyslexic, so I might get some of the numbers a bit confused. And again, it's the UK, but some of them might be similar to the US and other places as well. So 680,000 babies are born each year in England and Wales. 340,000 babies will have slept in an adult's bed with one or both parents by 3 months, whether intended or not, so 50%. On any night, 22% of babies will bed share. So 149,000 babies will be in bed with their parents tonight. Sleeping in close contact helps babies to settle and supports breastfeeding, which in turn protects babies from SIDS, sudden infant death syndrome. In 2017, 183 babies died of SIDS in the UK. That's 0.03% of all births. Previous UK data suggests around half of SIDS babies died while sleeping in a cot or a Moses basket. Around half of SIDS babies died while co-sleeping, so a 50% split. However, 90% of babies died in hazardous situations, which are largely preventable. 1 in 3,710, the risk of SIDS for all babies in England and Wales. 1 in 203, the risk of SIDS while co-sleeping on a sofa. 1 in 203, the risk of SIDS while co-sleeping after consuming alcohol or drugs. 1 in 919, the risk of SIDS while co-sleeping with a regular smoker. If no baby co-slept in hazardous situations, we could prevent and reduce co-sleeping SIDS by nearly 90%. And that's why I'm doing this video. So 90% of deaths by SIDS could be reduced, which is massive. So please like and share this video, and the more people that know about it, the better it will be. So, babies thrive on closeness and comfort. So they've been in the womb for 9 months and they've come into the world, and then all of a sudden you're trying to lay them down on the floor or put them down in a basket or wherever you're trying to do, and they're going to get upset and cry because they want to be close to you. So yeah, things like sling wearing, which again I'll do another video on, they just want to sleep on you. So people say to you, oh no, just put them down, you get time to do things like cleaning and cooking, and don't even bother. Just keep them nice and close to you. It's your time to bond with you and your baby. They can hear your heartbeat and things like that. So they've had 9 months of being in your womb, listening to your heartbeat and your voice and your breathing patterns. If they're off you, they're gonna notice it. So yeah, they want to be warm, they want to be safe, and that's why babies love being on you. So again, co-sleeping is that being next to you, being safe and secure. They can smell you, they can sense that you're there. So that's why co-sleeping is so important. Also, they pick up on a lot of times as well. As soon as you leave the room, your baby will notice that you're not in the room anymore. So little things like that has a massive effect. So you are connected with your baby, and it has a big effect. So a lot of people will try to put their baby in their own room and cry it out and things like that. And again, it's just a very stressful situation. So your baby's screaming because they want you, you can't sleep because they're screaming, and eventually your baby will sleep by themselves and they get bigger and they won't need to feed in through the night. And it's only for a short amount of time that babies stay little. So it might feel like a long time and late nights and things like that. But co-sleeping is a really big benefit of the first few months or years of their life, and eventually they will grow up and they won't want to be in your room and they won't want to be on you all the time. So enjoy it while they are little. So what to do? SIDS is really rare, so 0.03% of all the births, and it's never possible to eliminate it completely, but if we can reduce it by 90% would be a massive thing, just by knowing a few simple things. And again, that's why I'm doing this video. Please share. So if your baby is waking up in the night, that is normal, okay? People that say, oh, my baby sleeps through the night, that's not normal. So don't try and like have those conversations at your mummy groups where you're like, oh, how's your baby sleeping? Are you getting a good night's sleep and things like that. It's not a competition. Basically, your baby will wake you up when they are hungry or if there is something wrong with them. So don't get into that whole, why isn't my baby sleeping? They will sleep if they're tired. If there is something wrong, obviously you can speak to a health professional and things like that. But most of the time, babies wake up, they're hungry or uncomfortable or hot or cold, and you being next to them is going to be an easier way of dealing with that as well. So if they are hot or have a temperature, if they're next to you instead of the other room, they're not going to have half an hour of getting hot and then screaming, and yeah, it's going to be easier to notice that, and you'll have that connection with your baby. So whether you decide you want to co-sleep or not, most parents will probably co-sleep with their baby at some point if they're unwell and things like that, so they will bring them into the bed. One of the big things we want to point out is there is some factors that with co-sleeping, if we could reduce those, then it helps massively with the reduce of SID deaths. So sleeping on a sofa or a chair, it's really dangerous basically. So if you feel yourself sat on the sofa, really tired, go and lay down in your bed, clear your bed, make sure you've got a safe space, because that's the biggest thing, is being aware that sleeping on a sofa with a baby or an armchair is not a good place to be. So if you are waking up in the night, picking up your baby sitting in a feeding chair and you're really tired, you're more likely to fall asleep with them on that chair, and then that's when it could get really dangerous. So be aware of that. Another thing to be aware of is drinking and drugs. So whether it's alcohol, whether you've had a couple glasses and you think you're okay, obviously be aware of that. Or if it is your partner that has been drinking, maybe get them to sleep in a different room. Again, if you don't feel safe enough to be in bed with your baby co-sleeping, don't do it, because that is another thing. Obviously you don't want to be drink driving, you just wouldn't do it. So again, don't sleep in the baby if you've been drinking and you don't feel safe. Again, to trust your instinct. If you've had maybe a little glass of wine, that's fine. Obviously you have that natural instinct to know whether you're capable of looking after your child after a drink. I know there's a big thing for me. I was worried about having a little glass of wine with my baby to begin with. I was terrified of having a little glass of wine and then sleeping with my baby, so I just didn't do it. Obviously now I've got a 3-year-old and a 6-month-old. I'm more comfortable in my breastfeeding and co-sleeping, that I know that if I had a little glass of wine in the day with lunch, I'm not going to be affected at night co-sleeping. Whereas if I went out and had a party and got a little bit drunk, I would never put my baby next to me in the bed, because it's just not safe for me to do that. Not that I would do that. But again, or if my partner was drunk, I wouldn't let him sleep in the bed with me, because again, he could potentially roll over and harm me and the baby. So just be aware of those. Also drugs, if anyone does take drugs, or whether it's medication that might affect your capability to be safe in the bed with the baby. Again, if it's the situation, maybe you do need to get another adult, whether it's your partner or someone else, to look after the baby while you're in that situation. But again, just be aware of drink and drugs with co-sleeping. So SIDS is higher in babies who were a low birth weight and premature. Obviously they are a lot smaller babies, and again they're going to need more protection. So again, avoiding co-sleeping to begin with. If your baby's premature, they're going to be in the hospital away from you, so again, it's not safe necessarily until they're a certain weight to come out of the hospital. So again, you need to be aware of that. So just co-sleeping, be aware that if they are premature or a low weight, that might have a risk as well. So that's something else to be aware of. So finding solutions and issues affecting things like co-sleeping. So if you do go away on holiday, you're staying at friends and things like that, just be aware of what situations you're going into. So if you're on holiday, find out whether you can get a next to me cot, or how you're going to do that as well. So I remember when we went away, when my baby was only a month old, we had the like sort of the pushchair cot next to the hotel bed. We padded everything out and they were next to me, so we were kind of co-sleeping instead of having them in their own crib out the way. But again, if you're staying at friends and families, just be aware of what's going on and make sure you kind of have a monitor that situation, so the co-sleeping is safe and effective. So adult beds aren't designed to keep babies safe because they're for adults. So there is a UNICEF care for your baby at night, booklet and health professional guide, so I'll put that in the link below to find where you can get that information from. But again, yeah, be aware that when you're sleeping with your child in a bed, you want to make it as safe as possible. Okay, so the benefits. If done correctly, co-sleeping helps to prevent SIDS. So through breastfeeding mums, again, I'll do another video on breastfeeding because that's a whole other side of stuff, which again I'm really passionate about. The two combine really well, and that would reduce SIDS by 90%. And that's why I'm doing this video, because I literally am so passionate about breastfeeding and co-sleeping, that the more people that kind of not necessarily do it, but understand the facts and the information, which again, I don't think there is enough information out there that's easy to get access to. So that's why I'm doing the video. So for me, I didn't think I was going to breastfeed this long. I didn't think I was going to co-sleep this long. But it just works really well for me and my family, and I trust my instincts, and I know that me and my babies are getting the best through it. So again, it's just trusting your natural instincts. We all sleep really well. I haven't got to get up in the night all the time, so if my baby's hungry, I roll over, I feed them. Most of the time they're dream feeding as well, so my baby actually sleeps through the night and just stirs a little bit. They go, I feed them. They go, carry on going back to sleep. They're still sleeping. I've literally woken up for a few minutes, maybe 5 minutes, 10 minutes, fed the baby. They go back, they're still asleep. They've slept really well. I go back to sleep, so I sleep really well. And it is just a really nice way of doing it. So another thing as well, if your baby is unwell in the night, which has happened to me, whether they've got a fever, whether they're teething, and you have to give them attention. If your baby's in the bedroom with you and you're right next to you, you're going to be more aware, because they're going to stir. You're going to know something's wrong. Whereas if they're in the other room, you have to wait until they've actually woken up, crying, woken you up on the monitor or whatever it is you have. Again, you can react to things quicker as well, so it has a much better benefit as well with co-sleeping. So a lot of people might think it's a bit weird, but for me personally, I feel so connected with my family. Me and my husband have a massive bond, and we love co-sleeping with our children, so we know they're safe, they know that we're there and we love them, and if anything's wrong in the night, we're literally seconds away. So we all feel comfortable and safe. One of the big things people say is, they need to learn to sleep by themselves, but most people don't actually want to sleep by themselves. If I left you out in the middle of the street by yourself, you're going to feel vulnerable, you're going to feel not safe. Whereas if you were there with some other people, you would instantly feel more safe, because you want to be surrounded by people and know that if anything happens, there's someone else there to be with you and that can help you out. So people that say that you need to learn how to sleep by yourself, most couples probably sleep with another person, or generally, sometimes you can learn to sleep by yourself when you're a bit older, but when you're really young, you don't need to learn how to sleep by yourself, my personal opinion. But yeah, another thing of the co-sleeping, they're gonna grow up and they're gonna want to have their own room eventually. I'm sure they're not gonna be 21 and still wanting to sleep in the bed with me, which would be weird, but I'm sure they won't want to do that. So yeah, I'm just going to let my children co-sleep until they feel comfortable, until they want to go into their own room, which again, they might think, actually, mum and dad snoring, I can't deal with that, I'm going to go and sleep in my own room, which personally I do remember when I was poorly, I used to go and sleep in with my parents, but actually I was nah, this isn't comfortable, I'm not sleeping very well, so I want to sleep in my own bed. So again, it's you know that they're going to grow out of it. They're not going to be teenagers sleeping in your bed, and if they do get older and they want to sleep in your bed, it's not a problem again. So just do what feels right for you and your family, and don't worry about what other people think and their opinions as well. So just trust your natural instincts. Co-sleeping is safe, and when you take the proper precautions, it can be really beneficial for you and your whole family. Here, I just want to get a couple of little bits of feedback from you. So if you want to pop a comment down below or send me a message, do you co-sleep? And if you do, what are the benefits that you found through co-sleeping? And is there anything that you kind of wish you knew before about co-sleeping, or any other questions you might want to consider about how you set your bed up and things like that. I'm going to do another couple of videos and show you how we do our whole co-sleeping setup and how we get on with things like that. So if you found this video useful, please like below and subscribe, and also share it with your friends. So again, the more people know about this information, the more people, 90% of SIDS could be reduced if more people knew about this information. That's why I've done this video, and hopefully you can share it and other people can understand the benefits of co-sleeping and breastfeeding. And again, if there's any other videos you'd like me to do, send on the click on the link below and we get them up as soon as possible. But yeah, I hope you've enjoyed the video. But yeah, see you soon.